always brilliant to see the one and only Mr. Joe Cordina sitting in the Welsh sunshine, it looks like. Or is it cloudy there?
No. It's sunshine. I was out running this morning, and then the sun was beaming on my back, so I was loving life.
A month away, Joe, from your almost, I'd say, childhood dream, isn't it? You know, to fight and win for win a world title. It's against Kenichi Ogawa. It's in Cardiff. It's in an arena that Joe Calzaghe, Nathan Cleverly. I'm just trying to think of all the other names now. So many names from the past have all fought in. You've already fought in 3 big stadium fights anyway. The Principality Stadium twice and Wembley Stadium. What does it feel like a month out, Joe? I mean, you look fantastic for a start.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. It's still a bit unsurreal. I've thought about this opportunity and this moment for a very, very long time, years in fact, and now it's here. So for me to sort of think this is my moment. This is what I've been waiting for. I still haven't got my head around it, because it's just like it don't seem any different. But obviously I've got this opportunity now. It's in Cardiff, my hometown, and it's for a world title. Like you've mentioned previously, then I boxed in the Principality Stadium, and that was in my hometown. And the only thing that would have topped that would be fighting for a world title. And here it is. I'm fighting for a world title in the Motorpoint Arena. Don't get me wrong, it's no Principality Stadium, but it's in my hometown, and I get a chance to become a world champion in my hometown.
Well, I was there for Liam Williams and Chris Eubank Jr. recently, and it wasn't half a bad atmosphere in there, you know?
No, I was there that night, and I gotta admit, it was electric.
Yeah.
It was electric.
And I'm assuming it's going to be like that on the night, you know, and that will lift you, raise you, you know, you'll feel like you're floating in there.
Yeah, of course. Well, within 2 days, I had probably about 600 orders of tickets, and that's not including my family. It was just normal, like people that come, and I probably had over 150 people order ringside tickets, and they're still coming in. So, I think it's going to be a very busy and exciting atmosphere and night.
Tell me about the move to, obviously we know you as a lightweight, but the move to super feather, a very smart move in my view. Was that a strategic move because of the position of the divisions, where the opportunities might come at world level, a conversation with Eddie? How did that come about?
To be honest, Gareth, it was a bit of both of the opportunities and well, put it this way, I thought I was dieting properly, which really and truly I wasn't. Where I came from, the amateur setup and everything else, it was we fight day after, like consecutive days. So you're chucking sweatsuits on, you're just making the weight for the next day, having a little bit of food, making the weight for the next day, and so on. But when you're coming into a 12-round fight and 12-round camp, and you've got to gradually bring your weight down and whatever else, and I genuinely thought I was doing it properly. But there's a lot of things that you learn in boxing. You're learning every single day, whether it's in the gym or outside the gym or in strength and conditioning or diet, nutrition, everything. You're always learning. So I think it was the Andy Townend fight. I made the weight very, very comfortably, and I didn't have to train from the Wednesday. So I thought, okay, it was a fluke. I'd done it on the Gavin Gwynn fight. And then after the fight, after the weigh-in, funny enough, Tony and my S&C coach, who acts as well as my nutritionist, he knows a lot about nutrition, is Dan Lawrence. They had a little conversation with me, and they were like, listen, after this fight, we need to have a chat about your nutrition, whatever else. Because I was actually doing it properly at this point. So after the fight, they said, listen, I think the best opportunities, and with you making the weight so comfortably. I think we should try you down at super feather, because you're making it easy. You're only like a pound and a half at one of the fights, I can't remember which one, off super feather.
Were you really?
So
Even though you were fighting lightweight,
yeah,
so you were 131 and a half, not 135, yeah?
Yeah. So like one of the weight cut, just like obviously you do the little weight cut the night before or whatever, having a little skip or whatever, and I was 131 and a half or maybe 132 max.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, like, I gotta eat. So I'm eating, drinking, and then obviously I went to super feather. I went over to Monte Carlo and boxed Tinoco, and I made that comfortable. And when I weighed in, I weighed under the limit. Eddie went, "Do you reckon you can make featherweight for Josh Warrington?" And I said, "You give me the Josh Warrington fights, I'll make it tomorrow." But obviously, yeah, I think featherweight would be a bit of a push. Yeah, but super featherweight, I think, don't get me wrong, it's not easy, but it's not out of reach where I've got to put my body in like a proper distress.
Yeah.
I ain't got to do that. So I do it all properly. And now I make it. It's not like I said, it's not easy, but it's easier than what I was doing when I was not doing it correctly at lightweight.
Well, it's led to this moment against Kenichi Ogawa. I've been looking at previous fights of his. Obviously, we know what you do. You've got fast hands. You move in and out. You've got all the skills. We've seen it from your amateur days all the way through to the, I think, British and Commonwealth titles at lightweight, isn't it? It's and you're 30 now. And you've been a pro for nearly 5 years, haven't you? So it feels like it's come at the right time. Your skills and your abilities have been talked about for so long. Like you say, it's surreal, but I think looking at the style of Ogawa, I just watched the Zinga Fazile fight. Obviously, he's a crouching, tricky southpaw that Ogawa was fighting. He's a much more direct fighter. The IBF champion, the Japanese. It must feel like, this is a style I can become world champion against.
Yes, of course. Obviously, I've seen people like him through the amateurs. There's not many styles I've come across, or I look at and I see that I haven't come across in the amateurs. So, over 12 rounds, it's a different ball game. But he's got 2 arms, 2 legs, and he bleeds the same way as I do. So, and that goes for anyone in the division. They're no different. Don't get me wrong. They got some got better skill sets than others. Some are tougher than others. But he's someone that I look at and think, is he quicker than me? No. Is he technically better than me? No. Can he punch harder than me? Probably, his record says. I know I'm not a one-punch knockout artist, and I know that. But every time I do land on you, it's gonna hurt, and eventually it will have effect. But then I look at all the other factors. Can he fight on the inside better than me? No, he can't. So when I add all that and put it into one, when I think about it myself, my chances are very, very high winning this fight. So yeah, he's a good fighter. He's a solid fighter, and I think if he didn't have this first defense against me, I think he would have been a solid champion for a couple of years until he unified against the likes of Shakur or someone else, whoever had the other title, Gutierrez.
Yeah.
But he's fighting me, and I fancy my chances. And like Muhammad Ali said, there's no reward without risk. Without risk. So, so that's why I've had 14 fights now. I believe this is my time, and it's the right time. Like you said, I'm 30, and I'm mature in what I do. In everything I do, I train properly. I don't mess around. I get everything done properly now, and I know there's no room for slip-ups, and I gotta take every fight. If it's my world title, obviously this is my world title fight, and this can set up my family's future. So yeah, I got to make sure I grab this opportunity with both hands.
Yeah, I mean, your promoter Eddie Hearn's made no bones about it. I think, you know, as he said, Ken Ogawa is a proven fighter. He's strong. He's an elite fighter, and it's a big step up. But like you say, maybe it's a big step up at the right time for you.
Yeah,
and the fact that he's coming to Cardiff, that your promoter's got that for you, that he's coming from, you know, his homeland to Wales, I think it's a big advantage. You know, I think we've seen so often, you know, other fighters go to Japan and really struggle with the waters or the time difference. I'm thinking people like Rendell Monroe and I can't remember the brothers from Doncaster now. One of the brothers,
McDonald's.
Yeah, McDonald, of course. And that, you know, it can be a struggle going to that part of the world if you haven't got a proper camp and a team with you and 10 days to spare there. All of those kind of things. It's different.
I've been there, and like you said, it is a lot different than
you know from
it is
the amateurs,
difficult.
don't you? You know from the amateurs, you know.
Yeah, and we're only doing 3 rounds, and even just to get yourself out of, how can I say, sometimes you'll do a long travel, you'll go back to your hotel and you feel like you can't be bothered doing anything. So for us to try and get up for a training session or anything like that, it takes a couple of days just to even get up and get out of bed and feel normal.
Well, so, jet lag is real, isn't it? Yeah, if you do an overnight flight, you feel like you've got stiffness from a flu sometimes, don't you? When our body travels in that way, there is a reason for home advantage anyway. So and you've got your rhythms, haven't you? Are you going to move out of I know you've got little ones. Are you going to move out from the family home, or are you going to sleep in your own bed until fight night?
No, I don't do that. So what I do, even when I've boxed in Cardiff previously, I always stay in the hotel or wherever I'm staying. Previously, I think my last fight I stayed at my mum's. I had everything done for me. But as well as we've just bought another house, so next week we're moving in. Luckily, I haven't got to do anything. So I'm up in Essex, so I've left it all to the missus and the guy who sorting everything else out for us, so like the move and stuff. And I've got a couple of friends that will help as well. So yeah, I ain't got to worry about that. But I won't be staying in the house. The kids, don't get me wrong, I love my kids to death, but when I'm trying to relax, there is no relaxing when I'm around them. So yeah, I've got out this morning because I know if I had done this Zoom call with you, they'd be in and out of the room, jumping up and down and causing murders.
Something sprung to mind there. What does when you stayed at your mum's before a fight, does she cook you breakfast on the morning?
Yeah, she makes sure I'm. Listen, do you know, if I didn't have kids, I'd be back in my mum's.
Oh,
that's one thing for sure.
Are you a mum's boy then?
I wouldn't say so, but your mum, my mum makes sure I do, everything's there for me. If I come home from camp and she said, "Have you got any washing?" Bear in mind, I got a missus of 14 years, and she'll go, "I'll take it to your mum's," and I'll say, "Mum," she went, "Have you got any washing?" I say, "Yeah, boom, it's done." And she'll say, "Oh, do you want me to iron?" Yeah, no, it's training clothes, Mum. I don't need to be ironed. If I let her, she'd iron my socks and my boxes, everything. So she makes sure everything I need is there, done. She sorts all my tickets out. She sorts everything. So my mum, if I don't get how can I say, we've been staying in like these Airbnbs recently in previous fights instead of the hotels, so like we don't get bothered, we can cook our own food. So if I can't get one of them up here, then I'll stay at my mum's, and then I'll be sorted. I'll be comfortable.
I'd say mummy's boy in the way that Cal Brooks said he was a mummy's boy to me. Amir Khan said that, like, no one loves you like your mum. Do you know what I mean? No one loves you like your mum.
No. And like my dad's in Malta at the minute, and he lives over there. So yeah, if I got a problem or I got anything that I need to sort it or anything, I go to my mum. So yeah, you could say I'm a mummy's boy at this present moment.
I didn't mean it in a disrespectful way. So Cordina is Maltese, yeah?
Yeah, I think it's an Italian name, but heritage Maltese. My grandfather was Maltese. Um, my dad was born here, but he moved back over to Malta when he was 8. I think he was about 14, 15, maybe 16 for a bit, and then he came back over, and now he's over there living full time now. So he only comes back for my fights.
So some people probably think you're a Brachy, half Welsh, half Italian, don't they?
Yeah. So some obviously because of my name as well, Cordina. It's an Italian name, and we had one of the Italian fighters over in the gym about 2 weeks ago, and he was like, "Name Cordina." He said, "You Italian?" I said, "No, no, Maltese."
Yeah.
So yeah, but a lot of people do think that.
I've got to ask you. You win the world title on June the 4th, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've just seen Shaka Stevenson fight Oscar Valdez. He looked phenomenal. I think we all know he's a massive talent.
Yeah.
Know how ambitious you are, Joe.
Yeah.
Is that someone on your radar that you want to fight?
Of course. Listen, I'm not gonna lie and say he's this, that, and the other. He's unbelievable. He's a great fighter. And like I said, I ain't gonna lie. I'm a fan of his. I'm a boxing fan. We was in the Olympics together, and he's phenomenal in what he does. And yeah, I give credit where it's due. He's a great fighter. So yeah, I'd want to test myself and get in there with the best, because without, like I said, without risk, there's no reward. And if I want to be down in the history books, I'd have to beat someone like that, like Shaka Stevenson. So yeah, it's a big ask. It's a big ask, and it's a big task. But it's not going to be as easy as a lot of people think it would be for him. Because as tricky he is, I can be also tricky, and I can be patient. I can do all the things that he can do. Don't get me wrong, he's proved it. I'm yet to do that at the highest level. So yeah, obviously when I June the 4th, that's where I gotta prove that I'm in that same caliber.
Because the point being, he has said as well that he'd like to try and become undisputed at 130 pounds. So, and as you say, there's Roger Gutierrez out there as well. He hasn't fought in the UK yet. You know, I know Eddie Hearn, your promoter, is looking for big fights. It's, you know, you talk about legacy for the family as well, Joe.
I win this fight on June the 4th, and then I go, come here, come open my arms. I call him, come here.
Yeah, exactly.
We can do it in the Cardiff City Stadium.
Yeah, but whatever happens in that fight, whether you win, whether he wins, whether it's an amazing fight, you can do it again at lightweight in a couple of years as well. Do you know what I mean? That's because you'll both go up to lightweight, won't you? So
yeah. Like the first and foremost, I need to win a world title at super featherweight.
Yeah.
And then, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
It broke up on it. First and foremost, I need to win a world title at super featherweight, and then once I've captured that, then I can look about going up to lightweight and doing little bits there. I think I'm big enough. I'm big enough to go up to lightweight. My skills are good enough to compete with the lightweights. Yeah. Whether I punch hard enough to compete with them, I don't know. But especially my skills. Look at Paulie Malignaggi, for instance. He's not a puncher, but he won a world title. So there's a lot of fighters out there that skill set have got them to, and their toughness have got them to where they are. And believe you me, I'm tough, and I got skill, and I think I'm good enough skill-wise to mix it with the best of them.
You must be feeling now as well, given it was the hand injury was in 2020, wasn't it? Kind of kept you out.
Yeah, well, that's when I had the op, but I had the hand injury since 2018.
Really?
Yeah. So when Usyk boxed Bellew, I was meant to be on that show. I was meant to fight Scotty Cardo, and my last spar my last round and probably a last minute or something like that, I'd done my hand, and I knew it was straight away. I knew it was a problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously I've ended up fighting because I needed to get momentum in my career, and I was just starting to win meaningful fights and being to bigger fights. So I wanted to get that momentum, and when the pandemic hit, I just thought it's time now. I don't know how long it's going to go on for. It's time to get it done. So that's what I did, but ended up being out for 18 months altogether.
But very active last year. Was it 3 fights last year, wasn't it?
3 fights last year, yeah. So, and they were very good fights. So
yeah,
for me, it was good. I had my first fight was a sort of to get back in, and I had a little bit of learning as well in that fight. My second fight against Joshua Hernandez, I ended up stopping him in the first round, so I didn't learn too much. And then we got back out against I can't remember his name. My last fight, anyway, he brought something different. He sort of went on the back foot, so I had to chase him. Yeah, it was a bit different. So I had 3 different fights.
You had Korbanov, and then you had Kachian. Yeah.
Oh, that was my last one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I had Joshua Hernandez in the middle.
Yeah.
Kachian was a bit tricky. He was in the amateurs when I was there. He was a decent amateur, and he brought something that I didn't really have, because everyone tries to pressure me, and he went on the back foot. So I was thinking, okay, well, now I got to do something that I haven't done in the pros.
Yeah.
You're wrong. I do it in sparring all the time. I'm always on the front foot, but yeah, I've got 3 different styles out.
And you got 2 10-10. You got 2 lots of 10 rounds as well. So and a knockout, wasn't it? So yeah. Joe, it's brilliant to speak to you. You seem in a really, really good place. Yeah, it's fantastic to catch up with you. Can't wait for this fight. And as you say, opportunity knocks. Finally, opportunity knocks. Yeah.
This could be the start of something big, especially in South Wales. So, yeah, I need to grab it with both hands.
Great to see you. Thank you very much.
Cheers, Gareth. Thank you, my man.